Welcome back to the Aslead Institute Podcast. In today's podcast, we continue with the topic of integrity. How do you define integrity as a person? And how do you apply integrity in your everyday life? How do we bring integrity to our spaces so that integrity does not just become a story, but it becomes our everyday life? So we invite you to sit back, relax, and take note of each and everything that stands out for you. And at the end of the day, we invite you to join us at Aslead Institute because integrity is an integral part of our topics. It is an integral part of our modules. It is covered in Module 5 of our book, and it is something that you really need to put into your life each and every day. Welcome.
Dr. Mutua.
Yes.
How can one accomplish integrity in his personal life and also in the organization that they are leading like you? How can you really accomplish it? How can you start that process? Because I think from your story, you've led some organization where the question of integrity was opened. Why people are not behaving. So how can one as a leader accomplish integrity first to himself and to the organization that is leading?
I always talk about 3 E's of greatness. And I think that's what a leader should be. And to accomplish success, you must have the 3 E's of greatness. Education, experience, and exposure. Education, experience, and exposure.
Yes.
I believe integrity is also a product of deep knowledge. And soul searching, introspection, into and subscribing to higher values that are bigger than ourselves. We are not just human beings existing. We came from somewhere. We have a God. We have a creator. We, no matter how great we are in the positions we hold, we are accountable to a higher being than ourselves. And anybody who is not accountable to anything higher than themselves, then is not worthy to be a leader. That's a different story. So that humility that makes you search for deeper knowledge about yourself and the people you are leading, makes you seek exposure, understanding and knowledge and depth in issues, then gives you the humility to be able to first rein in yourself. You must be in control of yourself. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. Leadership begins with self-discipline. It begins with self-introspection, a soul searching every day. So you have to read a lot, you have to pray a lot, you got to expose yourself to different dynamics of knowledge. And the pursuit of truth. I believe they say truth is subjective, but there is objective truth that we all uphold, no matter what philosophy of life you uphold, whether you are a realist or a positivist or whatever paradigm of philosophy you uphold. There's objective truth. There's objective truth, and that objective truth is what is in the wider interest of people, the people that you lead and humanity in general. For example, issues to do with the love, the positive social values, love, kindness, empathy, peace, peaceful coexistence, and just being able to give the other person their space, agree to disagree, the ability to live with others amicably. In a society with the different dynamics and viewpoints and schools of thought. It is leadership. When you're able to step back and look at that environment and come in as the bigger person in that you want to give value to the wider good for people to live together. You see, talked about my desire to promote moral values, and I told you the media called me the moral cop. If you land at the airport, the port of entry in this country, and ask for the moral cop, you'll be shown one person called Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. I didn't call myself that. The media called me that because of my firm position in saying the content that we watch shapes our values. Fundamentally, it has a lot of influence in the way we think, the way we perceive people. It can build, it can destroy. And therefore, it's very important that we manage what people watch.
Yes.
This is how ideologies are formed. Even why Hollywood is so popular in the US, it was established to shape the values of the American people. So you glamorize some things, you certain way of dressing, certain way of talking, you glamorize certain way of relating, and that influences the wider society, and people begin to behave in a certain way. And so content is very powerful. So that ability to be able to go to school, first of all, as a leader, to be able to be ahead of the pack, because you can't lead when you're an idiot. Sorry to use the word. You need to be, at least make an effort.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that make myself comfortable, I don't need a title. I believe that the fact that I have pursued my education to PhD level, not because it was convenient, no. Between my first degree and my master's, there's 15 years, by the way.
Wow.
I could, when I finished my first degree, I got my job at The Nation, and it was a blue chip company. The Nation Media Group was the biggest media house in East and Central Africa. And I had to forego my master's at Kenyatta University just to stick to the job, because I wanted to help my siblings. I had that concern to help my siblings. And therefore I had to let others. And there are people who did the first degree together, they became professors while I still had the first degree. But I desired to read. In between, I did all the certificates and then short-term courses that didn't have to take me out of the country or demand that I leave my job, because I was focused. But when I got the chance and the wherewithal and the finances, I went to the University of Nairobi for my master's. And then that time I had come of age, so I aligned it to my career. You see, right now, why our kids are not disciplined, because they're watching the catch of socialites and get rich quick. Shortcuts that you can do betting and gambling, and they don't want to follow the process. We are living in a catch of instant gratification, instant fame. You do one song and you are so famous, nobody can tell you anything. They don't want to be mentored. They don't want to be guided. They don't want to be, because what they are watching, there is a way that movie is done to normalize cutting corners and the quick fixes. And you are exposed to that over and over again. So they are wondering, why should I go to school for so long and get old when I'm not rich, when you can just bet and become instant millionaire? So that process of coming also from a background where you are nothing, and through the sweat of your brow, working hard, being mentored by people who tell you don't go that route, and learning the importance of being guided by others who have been there before you, I think that helps a lot to bring in a person of integrity. A person of integrity is a product of many things. A product of the grace of God, a product of mentorship, a product of learning, a product of exposure, a product of habits shaped over time, a product of self-discipline. That's why I talked about doing the right thing even when no one is watching.
Even when you become unpopular.
Even when you become unpopular. And actually getting that gratification that I did the right thing. Majority did not agree with it, but it's the right thing. Because truth is truth, even if it is not upheld by the majority.
There is something that you mentioned, and actually it kind of got my attention, is that you said that nations, races, and the falls on moral values.
That's the foundation.
What do you think need to be done? Because I think when we look into a society, there is something that to be done in the families. You've talked about the family. You also talked about the organization. You also talked about the church. What really do we need to do? Because when you try to compare our country with other countries outside there, where actually moral values are taken very seriously, those nations, they have grown up. They have, they have good economies. They have good kind of a leadership. What do we need to do?
I think we got to be very keen in establishing that code of discipline from an early childhood. So that right from the ECD, early childhood development, we focus on teaching our children positive social values,
Yes.
to be patriotic, to share with others,
Yes.
to forgive, to tolerate others, to walk away when you are provoked,
Yes.
to be able to help the needy and the vulnerable, so that if there is another kid who is disabled, for instance, you don't occupy the seat
Yes.
when they are struggling. If there's a pregnant woman, you do not occupy the seat in a bus when that woman.
Yes.
Those small things. And we have to set them from the family. You know, we destroyed it right from there.
Yes.
When even if I'll give you, it may look awkward, but it's a very typical example, especially where I come from, where even the father used to be given the bigger chunk of ugali.
Yes.
And one day he has the same stomach with us. Some of us are even bigger.
Yes.
Why? You know, that catch of greed,
Yes.
sometimes in very innocuous ways, can be promoted in the very basic structure of society. So that if I saw my father and my mother deny themselves for my sake, do hard chores so that I can go to school, and I had somebody who would tell me, you see how your mother sacrificed, put more effort, don't let her down. I think that matters to a little child.
Yes. Yes.
Those stories. And we need to begin to tell our stories of our struggles, so that children don't think their fathers were born rich. They need also to know the struggles of their parents, the sacrifices.
Yes.
We need to instill positive social values in our children from an early age, so that they grow knowing that success is a process.
Yes.
There's a price to pay for you to succeed in life. And success is not a title, it's not material possession, it's not driving a big car. That there's that village teacher who is very authoritative and is listened to by many people.
Yes.
And you have seen such, Dr.
Yes.
Molinge. A village headman who is respected more than the MP. You've seen a village elder who commands respect, a pastor who can preach even to the president and command respect. And they are respected in the village because of their values. We need to show our kids that wealth and the success in life is not just landing with a chopper. That I could have come walking and I'm the chairman of this meeting because of who I am and the values. And if they can know that you don't derive satisfaction from the title, it is the accomplishment that you give in for your society, for the sake of others, that define you. That becomes a very good thing. And then lastly, there must be reward and punishment.
Okay.
And they must be very clear that if you are good, you'll be rewarded. Dr. Mulinga was very clear when I was young. From when I did class 7. By the way, I taught not only in my school, but in a very big region. And my teachers told me, here you go. You have just succeeded in life. You'll be the solution to your mother's family, to your parents' family. They gave me that inspiration, that by passing school, because I was passing exams and I was a disciplined child, they spoke those words with confidence that here is a success story. You are the man who will be talked about in years to come. It was clear that when you're disciplined, you are hardworking, you will succeed in life. So those of us who are school prefects, who are scouts, who are respected in our schools, and were holding positions like being CU chairman, school captain, we were so sure we would succeed in life.